competition.
Alright, let's see what I get from my UTS. Let's see, can I get 2 ultis in 1 week?
I tried.
What did you pull out your UTS package? Is it good?
Total.
Where?
Total.
Oh,
What's this? Ooh,
Oh,
an Unchained card. Yeets.
Oh, let's go.
Hey YouTube, Darkmagician84 here with the Common Charity Tournament report. So, yeah, took Melffy's. Things didn't quite go according to plan, even though it was a fun night in general. So, yeah, I faced like a couple of decks which I should have seen coming, really. It's funny because I recorded my pre-tournament vlog before I watched Weber's 5's Q&A, and he mentioned that about Blackwings possibly coming up. Nobody played it, but I instead, as you saw, ended up facing Cyber Dragons, Melffy's mixed with Naturias, and Gouki. Should have seen Gouki coming, but since near enough all the stuff is very low rarity. But yeah, against Tom, it was a bit worrying facing Cyber Dragons. I was thinking, oh god, Infinity doesn't have a common printing, does it? But no, it doesn't, or at least last I checked anyway, but no. It wouldn't have done, otherwise he would have summoned it against me. Yeah, no Xyz plays happened. Yeah, I was able to just deal with everything he threw at me, well, except game 1 where I just bricked. Like, I had so many unplayable spells and traps, even though I pile shuffled. Luckily I got better hands afterwards and was able to play. Can't believe game 3 took a while. Yeah, I was just able to play around everything until he ran out of steam. Then I got pitted against Jude, which was the match I wanted. Because like I said, I wanted to resume my goal of finally defeating him in a match. Thought maybe I could manage it, but it wasn't the case. Because I glanced at his game beforehand and saw he was playing Naturias, which made me a bit nervous, but still, I put up a great fight against him. God, that was just interesting, the way everything interacted. I feel like I was just very unlucky with game 3. I hate Sunflower so much. Yeah, that was so infuriating, having it negate everything, considering that Melffy relies heavily on monster effects. Yeah, but Sunflower just countered everything. I feel like I would have been alright by playing Gouki, but he just had to have the one card that countered it. Solemn Judgment. God damn it. Like one of those cards that I like using myself, but just hate when it's used against me. So annoying. Like, if it hadn't been for solemn judgment, I would have been in a much better position. Otherwise, at that point, I was just trying to hold him off and keep my life points higher and try and get the win for end of match procedure. But of course, that wasn't the case. He just pretty much countered everything I did right at the end. Yeah, it was just unfortunate. It was a great game, don't get me wrong, but was just gutted that I lost against him again. I mean, come on, I've got to defeat him sometime. There's always the next common charity event, I guess. I think I need a way to counter the Naturia part. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do next time. Just have a side deck to specifically counter him. Like, it doesn't matter about everyone else. But yeah, I did. And I did have a good enough side. You know, Battle Fader and Swift Scarecrow were great in case I... Well, it was mainly for any possible OTK decks, but it actually does kind of help in other situations, because obviously if I end up bouncing the Melffys, I'm leaving my board wide open. But I didn't draw them. And then in the last round I went up against Gouki. I was like, oh no. I didn't want this matchup. I mean, it was great to see Steve again. It's been a while. I did actually wonder. I was actually thinking, like, on my way down. It's been a while since I've seen Steve and Hazel. And then Steve shows up. But yeah, I don't know if it was his Gouki deck or whether he borrowed Tom's. Although, yeah, you might have noticed the Security Dragon during our match. I was thinking, wait, Security Dragon has a common reprint? But then I went to check earlier, and according to Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki or Wikipedia, it doesn't. So it's like, oh dear. But to be honest, I don't think anyone knew, really. Yeah, nobody realised. You know, it's just simply an honest mistake. I mean, I'm sure there was another generic link to he could have gone into anyway. But anyway, Goukis, I really didn't want to play against them because I did talk about it before, that some people might not know or forgot, but I hate Goukis just because Powered Odoga and Finishing Move exist. I mean, that's normally the go-to strategy, just OTK with them. And I tried so hard to stop that from happening, but yeah, it just didn't happen. Even when I lowered the attack with Melffy Staring Contest. Not necessarily Power Load Ogre, just yeah, the other links. Yeah, it was just unfortunate. I mean, it would have been alright if I'd seen my battle traps. I didn't see Mirror Force or Storming Mirror Force once, like, throughout the whole event. Like, that could have helped me so much. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did use Mirror Force against Tom. That was the only time I saw it. Yeah. But the only thing I really had for Gouki's was Prohibition, because the plan was to use it to stop Power Load Ogre in finishing move, but didn't fucking draw my sided cards. Oh well. And then of course I finished 4th out of 6 people. Didn't quite make the top 3, and you know, potentially get what's it called? Phantom Nightmare packs. But it's alright. I wasn't too bothered about how I did in the tournament. I literally just wanted to face Jude and defeat him once and for all, but that never came up. Next time. I've got to get him next time, surely. Yeah. Other than that, it was a very fun event. I do enjoy Common Charity a lot. I'll definitely play in more of those. I'll more likely stick with this. I'm thinking about making like a Common Charity Dark Magician deck, but don't know. We'll see. I suppose potentially I could have done better with Dark Magician. I mean, obviously if I made a Common Charity version of that, then maybe I could have done better, or at least I'd like to think I would have done. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be able to play every single Dark Magician card, but I'm sure I could think of something. Anyway, I think I'll do a deck profile on this deck. I did say I would, although keep in mind it's not quite exactly how I want it. So just trying to put the main deck together real quick in a certain order. Shouldn't take a minute. Pardon me. Like, almost there, guys. Okay, right, Common Charity Melffy deck profile. Now, of course, I already did do a deck profile on Emma's Melffy deck a while ago, so shouldn't need to explain what everything does. Yeah, I've got 2 copies of Pony, Graveyard Recovery, 2 copies of Penny, synchro summoning stuff, 3 copies of Puppy, 3 copies of Catty, my personal favourite Melffy monster, 1 Fenny, 1 Rabby, 3 copies of Wally, and that's it for the Melffy cards. Then I play the Mythical Beast package, Valerie Form and Kalantosa. Now, yeah, this is supposed to be a common version, which I did buy off eBay, but rather annoyingly it didn't arrive in time. But like I said, it was okay because we were going by a rule where, like I said, cards are allowed as long as it's had a common printing, which of course Calantosa does have. Yeah, I wanted to properly fit the theme, but that didn't happen in time. Then 3 copies of Rescue Cat. Yeah, it was very interesting that it was ruled that we could just use the pre-errata version how it was used back then. Like, that really threw me off earlier. I was like, can we really do that? I guess so. I mean, it's never come up until now. I mean, I don't think I'll get into a situation where I could use its effect multiple times in a turn, but yeah, that was crazy that it works like that. That's it for monsters. On with spells. 3 copies of Tag, which I didn't get to use at all. 1 Hide and Seek. Now, there are supposed to be 2 copies in here, because that's the other card I was missing, but again, it didn't show up in time, which was annoying. Like, I had to use Pot of Avarice instead. Yeah, very frustrating, but what can you do? Then 2 copies of Staring Contest, which did save my arse quite a lot of times. That second effect is just so good. Then Monster Reborn. Then 2 copies of Pot of Avarice. There's only supposed to be 1 copy in here, just to fill the space. But yeah, I only put 1 in to fill the void. That is the second Melffy Hide and Seek. Then 2 copies of Regeki. The main deck has a lot of weak monsters, so I kind of need lots of monster destruction and Twin Twisters. And now for traps. 2 copies of Playhouse, which I never saw once. 2 copies of Back to the Front to bring back any Melffys from the graveyard so I can use their effects again. Mirror Force, the saviour against Cyber Dragons. Storming Mirror Force, didn't see but would have loved to have seen, against Jude and Steve. And 2 copies of Solemn Strike. So yeah, obviously I can't use Obedience Schooled because it doesn't have a common printing. Shame really, could have helped a lot. Anyway, extra decks, starting with Synchros. 2 copies of Merry Melffys and 1 copy of Star Mine, which I only got out once. I was trying to see if there was any other like low rarity generic level 4s I could play. Then I looked at Star Mine and thought, that's interesting. If you don't know his effect, I'll just read it out. You can only special summon Star Mine once per turn. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's attack or card effect, take 2,000 points of damage, then inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent. If a monster in this card's adjacent zone is destroyed by your opponent's attack or card effect, destroy this card, and if you do, take 2,000 points of damage, then inflict 2,000 points of damage to the opponent. But of course, yeah, only got it out once, and of course Tom had a way to dodge its effect. Not that it mattered, but yeah, it is what it is. Exceeds 3 copies of Joyous Melffy's, my fiance's ace monster, then 2 copies of Melffy Mommy. Yeah, no Melffy of the Forest, unfortunately, because rather annoyingly, it doesn't have a common printing. So annoying. Could have been very helpful, and I hate that that's the only Melffy card that's basically being left out here. At least until Melffys get more support. And other cards consist of number 20 Mannequin Cat, which I didn't get to use, Soul Sweeper, which I didn't get to use, although Jude did, number 96 Dark Mist, another MVP of the match with Tom, which helped me overcome a Cyber Dragon. Yeah, thought I'd give that a whirl. Proved to be a big help, definitely. And then 2 copies of Utopic Future. I wanted to put this in just in case I got into a situation where I'd get out 2 rank 2s that are not numbers, and then I could make one of these guys. Of course, that never came up. And then links. I think everyone had the same idea, which was basically running the Codebreaker links, Virus Berserker and Virus Swordsman, which makes sense. Like I said, I feel like we all had the same idea, because I felt I need some generic link monsters that are common that I can just go into. So yeah, I'll just read them off if you're not familiar with them. It's not an archetype I've gone into, so it needs 2+ monsters, including a Codebreaker. When this card is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon up to 2 Codebreaker monsters from your hand or graveyard to any zone a link monster points to. During your main phase, you can destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls up to the number of co-linked Codebreaker monsters on the field. You can only use each effect of Codebreaker Virus Berserker once per turn. So I don't think any of the effects are likely to go off. I just put it in as a beat stick, really. Same with Virus Swordsman, which just needs 2 effect monsters. And it says, when this is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon 1 Codebreaker 0 day from your hand, deck or graveyard to any zone a link monster points to. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed while in your possession by an opponent's card and sent there this turn, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Codebreaker Virus Swordsman once per turn. So obviously that first effect is never going to come up, but the effect to bring itself back potentially could have done. But again, I just put it in as a beat stick, and it helped a lot. In fact, I was originally going to try and go into a Codebreaker Virus Berserker against Steve, so I could crash it into Power Load Ogre. But I needed a link to be able to do it, and I didn't have the right materials at the time. So I planned to steal a link to from his graveyard, but then it's like, oh yeah, he's got Borrow Load, I can just revive that and run it over. Yeah, that... Shame I still didn't win the match, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's the tournament report and the deck profile. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and a comment, share and subscribe if you haven't subbed already. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, but next time I use this deck in a common charity event, it should be ran the way I originally want to run it. You know, with 2 Melffy hide and seeks. God. But yeah, I still might get the other stuff you typically run in Melffy, like I said, so I can play it as a rhetorician format and minor league deck. I still need a few cards if I want to do that. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Magician YouTube channel.